Welcome to the Taking the Lead Media Podcast, broadcasting from the island of Oahu with your weekly playlist of independent music and interviews. My name is Onofre, and welcome to episode 126. How is everyone on this lovely 420 day? You know what that means, right? Super Troopers 2! And a whole bunch of record releases today. Too much to name, in fact. I thought new music came out on Tuesdays. Now I see the trend, or maybe it's an official thing now. New Music Fridays. Cool either way. But I do have new music on the show as well. It's been out for a week now. A new single by the band 18th and Addison. Tom, one half of this duo, joins me on the show. We'll have to get Kate on the show for a future episode sometime. 18th and Addison have been around since 2014. Based in Toms River, New Jersey. They have one album out, Makeshift Monster, which I play a couple tracks from. They also have one EP titled Little Parasites and a new one on the way, set to be released on June 1st, titled Vultures. I'll be playing a track off of that as well. Check out the show notes for timestamps on the tracks I'll be playing on this episode. It was a fun talk with Tom. We touched base on the new music, touring, shows, his different projects that he's worked on, and what he's listening to at the moment, and a whole bunch of other stuff. This recording was also done in March, so we'll be referencing some things that have happened already, so y'all don't get confused. So we hit the ground running on this one. Here it is, my talk with Tom of 18th and Addison. 18th and Addison. I gotta ask, what is that in reference to? Anything in particular?
It's pretty much where I don't know who is aware of mine and Kate's like personal lives with social media. You never know. We've been dating for about 7 years, and yeah, a little over 7 years now. And we when we first started the band, we were trying to think of a band name because we were playing around and actually doing like little cover shows, just at like local bars and stuff like that, just to like make some money. And you know, we'd kind of like, you know, this is actually a great thing we got going here. Like, why don't we start doing this and putting this towards all the originals that we've been writing? Like, we had some like really like tight original music that we're really proud of. Like, why aren't we doing something about that? So let's just do it. And every time we would go out and play, venues didn't know what to call us, so they would just call it Tom and Kate. And I kind of hated just seeing like our names on a sign. I thought that was kind of weird. So like, we gotta think of a cool band name. And at the time, the street that Kate lived on was called Addison. It was Addison Avenue, and we were like, that's pretty cool. Like, what if we went with something like that? But, you know, I don't want it to just be one word. Like, it sounded cool, but we didn't want it to just be one, you know, just to sound like a name or anything like that. And then you know, my house address was 18, so we kind of just made it seem somewhat like a street corner, kind of like just a meeting of two places, and just called it 18th and Addison. So it kind of sounds cool. It defines that there's two people. You know, it's a punk rock duo. It's not an official full band thing, even though we make full on like rock and roll records. You know, it's just something to kind of separate ourselves a little bit, and then to also, you know, represent who we are as people, where we're from, and, you know, where we were when the whole thing started. So yeah, that's kind of where it all came from.
Oh, nice. That's sweet.
Yeah,
that's very cool. I just thought of when I was living in Oregon, there's this sister kind of acoustic duo, and the one was named her name was Robin, and the other girls, I think it was Kate, but then they went as Catman and Robin. So it's like, oh,
that is awesome.
Yeah. Like, oh,
that is so awesome.
That's sweet. Right.
Yeah, that is really clever.
What kind of covers did you guys do?
Everything, dude. Like, because I mean, we like so much music. It's so tough for us to, you know, really just lock it down into one
Yeah.
thing. I mean, we know a few friends of ours that strictly play in cover bands, and they won't touch on certain eras and things like that, which is understandable because some of it's hard to do justice, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, being acoustic, you can kind of rework things, and we can get away with a little bit more sometimes. And also having the experience as a touring band, and coming from two bands that were both touring before we started this one,
All
we
right.
had a
Yeah.
little bit more like experience in performance and things like that, and really kind of drawing people in and having fun with everybody there. So we were able to kind of dive in and out of genres. So we would do everything from Johnny Cash and like Miranda Lambert to like the Rolling Stones and the Clash, and everything that we just are interested in or influenced by. They're not everything we played influences us, but definitely one of the best things about it is it did open our eyes to different styles of music and different ways to
Yeah.
play our style, and how we can incorporate different genres and not just kind of be pigeonholed into one thing, which is kind of every band's nightmare, I think, in some cases. So that was fun. We did everything. I mean, everything from like late 50s, like straight up rock and roll stuff to
Nice.
90s pop music to today's current like pop rock stuff. So we just have fun with it. It's music. So
For sure.
I mean, there's too much something good in every genre, and there's too much good stuff out there to just be like, I only want to play this. It's kind of stupid. So I mean, that's just our opinion on it.
Yeah. Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask then, what are you currently listening to?
Oh man, it changes every 5 seconds. I have absolute musical ADD.
Oh, okay, okay.
Currently in my car, as I was just driving, I was listening to London Calling, the Clash record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like my all-time favorite.
Sweet.
I really like the new Green Day record, Revolution Radio. That's really good.
Oh, okay. I haven't had a chance to hear that one yet.
Oh man, it's so good. It's awesome because they did that trilogy thing, which like,
yeah,
even they'll admit that was too much. And,
right.
Like, I mean, I respect them more than anything. They're so over ambitious, and it's not a lot of bands are these days. It's like just hyper creativity, but it doesn't always work, I guess. But this one came out, and it's like, oh my god, man! Thank God they did all those things, because you kind of got to go through the shit to get to the good stuff. And
true.
This one's so good. This record, it's awesome. So we listen to a lot of that.
Yeah.
The latest Newfound Glory record, Kate and I have been really into.
Yes, they're actually going to be playing here on the 25th.
Oh, nice, dude. That's awesome.
And they're going to play their self-titled and Sticks and Stones front to back.
Oh, sick. That's right. Yeah, I saw that they're still doing that. That tour has been going on forever.
Yeah? Oh, man. And I've never seen them live yet, so this is going to be really sweet.
Yeah, you're in for like a really like good night, because those guys are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
They don't skip a beat. We're actually opening for them in New Jersey on May 25th when they come through at Bayside.
Nice. Oh, that's gonna be tight.
I'm so stoked on that. Yeah, man. And it's at like this venue that I personally haven't played since I think I was 15 or 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
And they're playing there, and they're opening up the indoor stage and the outdoor stage. So it's gonna be like this massive festival now.
No,
and it's just amazing, man. Like in some like real good company,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. Oh.
Yeah, dude. It's cool when you have an opportunity like that to like, be invited to play a show with bands you grew up listening to. It's like something you always want to have happen, but like you never think actually would. Nice. And then when it does, you're like, oh damn. I hope we don't suck. Like we gotta get good.
Right on, man. Oh yeah, have a good show, man. That's gonna be really.
Thank
sweet.
you. Have fun at theirs. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's gonna be a really long show. So I mean, that's 2 albums. So I'm like, oh,
yeah, man. They do a good job with it though. Like, cause I'm typically like the dude who's like a total Grinch about like album shows. I can't stand going to see a band play their albums front to back. But they do it in a way where like they plan it out as if it's just a random set list. They don't just do it in order. So it's like you never know what they're gonna give you, which I think makes it really fun, because you're just constantly on edge. You're like, God, when is my favorite song gonna happen? Like, it's gonna happen, so you're excited, but you're like, when the hell is my favorite off this record gonna come up?
It's still on track 3. It's like,
yeah, right. Come on already.
And
they do a great job with it.
With those albums, it's not like a bad closer. I mean, it's not like they went like artistic.
Oh no.
So it's like, okay, it's gonna open good and it's gonna close good.
Exactly, and everything in between is just so solid. It's so
Yeah.
you're gonna have a blast, dude. That's all there
Nice.
is to it. It's just gonna be a great time.
Nice, nice. Well, that's sweet, man. Oh.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's really how. That's it. I mean, for me, that's always kind of back and forth. And I'm such like a Joe Strummer nerd. I've been listening to so much of like Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros lately.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, Kate's changes all the time too.
Yeah.
You go back like her and I could be in her car and be back and forth from like, the newer Fall Out Boy stuff to like, I don't know, like to like I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, to like the new Paramore record,
Paramore.
to like anything. But like I keep trying to like, as we listen to so much, but those are the ones that are coming to the top of my head. But so we just jump back and forth, like Johnny Cash and June Carter, the Everly Brothers.
Nice.
We listen to a lot of Good Charlotte. Like her and I grew up loving Good Charlotte when we were kids. So it's like,
Oh, okay.
they still like, we still hear their records and they're like, God damn, like they wrote some really catchy songs.
They did, yes. Are they
Yeah.
from that side, the East Coast, or are they?
Yeah, I think they all live in LA now.
Oh, okay.
I think. But yeah, they're from Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
Originally.
Right.
Yeah, we're actually playing in Maryland for the first time this year. I've had the hardest time booking a goddamn show there.
Yeah.
We finally got one.
Oh wow. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's
And
sweet.
I can't wait.
So you guys have like a full like a touring band that you guys play with? That's sweet.
Yeah, we it's a lot of, it's kind of what you were talking about, scheduling around people's lives and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Is it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
Not having steady band members who are 100% invested in what we're doing, but we've kind of, we have really tight friendships with the guys that play for us, and
Nice. That's always good.
they also play in other bands, to where if they need somebody, her or myself or Kate can go play for them if they have a show or something, or if they need guitars tracked on a record or whatever, or help with the music video. It's like, it's a very, I don't want to say community, because there's really not much of a community around here.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people who think there is, like they kind of think they're doing it, but they don't realize how clicky. It's more of a clique than it is like a community.
I see.
And yeah, so it's a little different than what it's kind of like promoted as. But for us, it's like, I don't want to say community so much as like it's just a solid group of a couple bands that they all really respect each other, and anytime someone really needs help, like they're always kind of there. And it's a nice trade-off too, it's like, okay, well, you need me to play guitar, I need your drummer for a tour. Nice. It's kind of nice. So it's like, this guy we got playing, we've had him playing since last year, actually a full year today. He's been playing with us because he came out to Texas with us when we did the South by Southwest shows. He played all those sets with us. We did like 5 shows in 3 days, and he was just down. Like, no questions asked. He was so ready to go and just so stoked. And the guy's a machine. His name's Brian Dilla. Yeah. This dude is like the best drummer I know. Nice. And I've played with so many drummers. It's like, I can confidently say the best drummer I know, and the coolest, like the best attitude towards music. He's very like, doesn't really expect much. He's not pretentious in like the slightest bit. It's just like, when do we play? When do we go on? What time do I have to be at your house? When are we leaving? Just like real to the point, and kills it, dude. We actually had him play on our new EP. We have this new EP coming out in June, and we were like, he is so solid that we need him to play the drums on this thing, and it's literally the best sounding thing I think we'll probably ever put out. It sounds so good. Like, the drums are the backbone, so if the foundation's weak, the whole house is weak. So having him play drums on this thing is just, it's like, dude, we're so stoked. So nice. You get a couple good people, and then you stick with them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or try to.
That's really awesome, man. Yeah, generally, good attitude will bring good vibes, for sure.
Yeah, 100%, man, for sure. And it's the same with the bass players. Like, bass players have been kind of coming and going more than drummers, which is funny because my whole life drummers were the complicated ones, and now bass players are the complicated ones.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. But for this next tour we're doing, a friend of ours is coming out who actually also played with us in Austin, and those two guys, between him and Brian, this dude's name is Lenny Sasso. He's awesome. He plays in a band called June Divided. And the two of them came to my house, and first practice, dude, like, if we practiced for 8 hours that day, instead of 3 or 4, we easily could have played a show that weekend. Like, it would have been no question. They were so tight and just ready to go, like, super professional. Nice. And it's a rare thing to come by, but but we got them now, so it's
nice.
cool.
Yeah. In the the town that I went to school at in Oregon, there's all
Mm-hmm.
these local bands, and the one part of the band that they always would people would always be looking for was a bass player. And that was like the
Yeah.
hardest thing to come by.
Oh yeah.
There's always drummers, there's always guitar players, singers, but no bass players, or that couldn't
Yeah.
commit. So,
Oh yeah. It's always something like that.
yeah, well, that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny too because you get certain like, especially with our style of music, like our style like kind of requires a guy who plays guitar, who's initially a guitar player who plays bass sometimes because it's like because we're so much like we're kind of like we're not like a heavy band but we're aggressive.
Yeah.
And we kind of want that live, and it's rare to come by sometimes, like people who can give you that punch, because a lot of people don't hear it the same way that we picture it or the way we record it. But of course you also don't want everybody to not be themselves on stage. You want everybody to feel comfortable. So
Nice.
It's a gamble sometimes, but yeah, I totally understand that with people having a hard time finding that.
your town, like, what would you say would be the dominant genre, like in terms of local bands?
It's definitely along the lines of like indie pop and rock and stuff like that is pretty big here. You know, a lot of that and also like, you know, like kind of like folky stuff. There's a lot of people who are trying to like kind of do the folk thing still.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of been one of the more common things that I've noticed, metal is really big here too. There's a lot of metal bands. Hardcore is actually coming back. There's like a really solid, thriving hardcore scene right now, and there's some really great hardcore bands that are actually like doing it the right way. Some good friends of mine who I love them because they put out some like great records. Our show schedules always like clash, so I never get to see them. But yeah, I've seen footage, and I'm like, damn, like these guys, like there's like, at least hardcore is kind of still moving.
Yeah.
So that's been cool. I mean, our style really isn't that popular here. Like we have a really hard time really kind of making sure, like kind of like getting people to really understand what we're going for.
Yeah.
And not just getting the typical pop punk card, like we kind of get that tag a lot, the whole pop punk thing, which is cool. I don't hate it. Some of my favorite bands are pop punk. There's no way around it. But it's for us, it's like we think about a lot of styles of music, and we try to put it all into one. And and that's something that I think we learned from bands like The Clash and Rancid and Stiff Little Fingers, like guys like that who, like they just were music. There was no tag. They were just the press called them punk. Like the genre came from the media. So seeing that, it's kind of interesting. And I guess it's the same thing now. Like we never went around saying we're a pop punk band. So it's like people just wanted to say that. Right. But like just like people locally or whatever. But the shows are good when we play. I mean, we play at home very rarely.
Oh, really?
Like yeah, like we try to tour more than we try to be home because it's not the strongest support system here. So we like to go where we know people will come out. So like we'll play in Nashville on like a Tuesday night, and there's more people out on a Tuesday night in Nashville than there would be on a Friday night in New Jersey when no one has work the next day. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's strange. So I think there's too much to do in New Jersey. Like there's like we kind of also live in a touristy area, like a vacation type of spot. So it kind of sucks for that because there's so many other things that people could be doing.
Yeah.
So they're like, no, why would I want to go see your band? Like there's 15,000 other kids in bands asking me to go to their shows. It's like you just become another one. So but when you travel, and you're a band that's coming out on tour, people look at that a little differently and they're more interested because it's like, oh, cool. Well, friends of mine tour. I should go support these guys because it's the same as supporting my friends. So everywhere else, people get it.
Nice. How long is the drive to Tennessee from where you're at?
Like 12 hours.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking like, oh, that mustn't be that far then. Like 5 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours. Wow.
Yeah, no, you can hear how desensitized I've become to it.
All right, man. Yeah.
But I don't mind it. It's like if we leave early, we get out on the road by like 7 a.m. I could drive the whole thing with no problem.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
But if we leave late, I'm just like miserable because there's like no sun. I'm just like, God, I need something. I need something to keep me up here.
Right on. Oh, man. Yeah, like
it's not bad though. And when you're about to play a show, like your adrenaline is so high.
Nice. So I'm guessing like, do you guys play like several shows? Like if you're going to make it that kind of a long drive, do you plan out like?
Yeah, well, like for instance, we're going to be announcing a tour soon.
Nice.
In support of our new EP. I just wrapped up booking it a couple days ago, and we're starting at the bottom of Pennsylvania and working our way out to Nashville. We actually don't have a show in Nashville this time, but we have a couple days off there, which is kind of nice.
Nice.
And then the rest of the way it kind of loops around. Like we kind of hit like South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, like things like that. We're going to go down to Alabama.
Oh, wow.
We did really well in Alabama last year, so yeah, dude, they were awesome. That was just a ton of people who were just so into. They got it. Like out of anybody, I should say that area really, really understood us and were really welcoming. And that was just an acoustic tour.
Oh wow!
Like her and I went out just on it with acoustics. Like I would bring my electric and I'd play sort of like Billy Bragg style, like guitar through the like electric guitar through the amp, just no band or anything like that. And the reception was great, especially there. It was so cool. Like after the show, like. Between there and Richmond, Virginia, it was like the most people who came out specifically to see us who we were like, oh, damn.
Nice.
I had no idea anyone here really gave a shit. So it was really cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, we're stoked to get back in those areas again.
Nice.
Especially with new music,
How often do you make it to the West Coast?
Not often. We actually haven't yet at all for this. With this band, we really want to. Kate's been there in her old band. My old band didn't really tour all that much. We did a couple tours like East Coast and Midwest, but we didn't get a chance to go that far. But yeah, man, I want to go out there so bad.
Nice. Yeah. You should make time for it this year when your new EP comes out. That'd be really sweet.
Yeah, we were talking to a friend of ours who's from LA, and we were gonna do like just a California run, and just fly out there, do some stuff acoustically, like the same way we did that last acoustic tour. And so it's just things haven't really panned out just yet, but I really want to do that just because, you know, we get a really good reaction from people in California, and I think if we can at least hit all the major spots out there, I think we can play some decent shows. Sweet. So it's just a matter of being able to get out there and hook up all ages shows, because that's the hard part at this stage, because we're such a small band that hooking up all ages shows is really difficult.
Yeah, I mean that's so you want to get people out to your shows is the 18 and younger. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I want like everybody there. You know, it's like, you know, and there's a lot of people like on Twitter and Instagram who are way younger, who are like, you know, I want to go to your show tonight, but I can't. My parents won't bring me. So it's like, well, you're kind of like, damn it. Well, I really want you there too.
Yes, it's kind of weird when you see that flyer. 18 and younger with a guardian. It's like,
Yeah, just kind of like puts a damper on the situation, because not every parent wants to go sit there and watch a band either. So you're kind of like, all right. Eventually we'll get that sorted out, though. I want to get over there real bad.
Sweet. How many songs are going to be in the new EP?
This one's only 4 songs, actually.
4 songs? Nice. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We did 7 songs on our first EP, Little Parasites.
All right.
And then we did a full length for our album Makeshift Monster.
Yeah.
That was 11 songs. And then we just put out a single that we wrote for a movie called Cold and Calculated. The song's called Crumble and Crawl. We just threw that up on iTunes and Spotify and Apple Music, all that stuff. And then just to kind of like in the meantime until the new EP was ready to drop. And, you know, now the EP's finally here. It's like, well, not here yet, but we're so close.
Nice.
June 1st. June 1st. Cannot wait.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of, is that just going to be on like a CD? Or are you thinking about doing vinyl or tapes?
We have thought about vinyl. We've talked about vinyl. So we're probably going to I would like to do a run of vinyl in support of this one, because I wanted to do one for Makeshift Monster, but it was really expensive, and I wanted to tour first. And, you know, I ended up booking us from January till August, just constantly on tour. Like we were just like on and off, you know, we were going like for a week, or even just like weekenders, like just 3-4 day weekenders. So like we were constantly moving to where we were like, you know, there was so much expense during touring and just trying to promote the record that making vinyl kind of just got swept under the rug, unfortunately. But with this one, I really want to do it, because I think this one's a little bit more doable with it being only 4 songs and everything like that. So yeah, we made a lot of changes this year. Like we changed around the situation with a lot of the people we work with for millions of reasons. And it's a way better vibe right now. And there's a lot getting done at once. And, you know, initially with the EP, we were talking about releasing 2 EPs this year. We were going to split up. We were going to do a 4-song EP now, and then another 4-song EP at the end of the year. Or actually, we were going to do one in April and then this one in June. And we ended up speaking with this new management that we started working with. And, you know, they had some ideas too that they threw in that made a little bit more sense, that wouldn't be so backbreaking for us. You know, it was a little bit smarter idea to just put out one right now. So that's what we're going to do.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We'll just do the one tour to support it. And then we'll have a music video out soon. We just wrapped up a music video a couple months ago, actually. The editing and setting up premieres and stuff like that takes some time. So that'll probably be out in April. But, you know, we'll be announcing dates and everything like that soon. But, dude, it's so exciting.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like you got everything together. It's going to be a good year for you guys.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's some things that get away from us that make us want to tear our hair out and never do it again.
Oh, man. Oh, okay.
But no, I'm just kidding. There's really nothing that can make us not want to do it. It's just like certain things happen where you're just like, Jesus Christ, like we have a lot to do right now. And it hits you all in one day. It's like, it's never gradual. Like here's a bunch of stuff to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's like, you know, being in a band is a lot more than I think people think it is when they first start one. And then, you know, you start a band and you're like, wow, like this is a lot of actual work that we have to do here in order to make sure people hear it. Because that's the overall goal. Like the basis of the whole thing is to make sure people hear what you're doing. You know, everything else is secondary. But, you know, it's a lot of work to make sure people hear it. You know, you do have to tour and you do have to be on social media, and, you know, you can't give people like boring stuff. You want to, like, you want people to be entertained. You want people to have fun with you.
For sure.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's just how we look at it. I think every band's different. So I should really just say I'm only speaking for us, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know this one guy in his band. I think they've been around maybe for more than a year. I'd say maybe 2 years at most. But he was talking about like they need to get their shit together because he's like, we don't even have shirts, dude. We've been playing this long. We don't have anything. We have one. All our music's digital. No hard copies.
Wow.
It's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta get their shit together, man. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, for real, dude. What you waiting for?
Yeah. But I think they got it all together
It's
now.
not easy though.
Yeah.
It's expensive to do, especially when you're independent. Like like after doing all the cover shows, you know, we fund our whole band through that stuff, and we pretty much opened up our own record label that right now is solely catered to just releasing our stuff. You know, we want to get good at it first before we even consider trying to help anybody else out and, you know, ruining it for them. But you know, we got you know, it's like we've you know, it's like we've put out the 2 records already on our own. This is gonna be our 3rd release, like our 3rd independent release with absolutely no financial help at all.
Nice.
And it feels good, and it just comes down to, you know, you have to have a lot of discipline. Yeah. And I think that you know, it's definitely not easy, because even though we play a lot to keep this thing afloat, it's still very expensive, especially on top of everything else you need to do. It's like, you know, getting CDs pressed isn't the only thing, but, you know, it's good to have them, because when you go on tour or you play a show, you know, some people still want to buy CDs. Like, we still sell records, you know. It's like when we're at a show, our merch does very well. And that's something in my old band that never happened. You know, we never sold an ounce of merch ever. I think we sold like 3 T-shirts on a 15-city tour. It was terrible. Oh, yeah, man. So it's like, you know, it's obviously this band's doing something right, so that feels good. And, you know, I think again, it comes down to, you know, present it to people in a way that, like, you know, let people know you're excited about what you're doing. Don't make it like, there's some bands who make it seem like it's so difficult, or they make it seem like they just don't give a shit. Because like everybody wants that I don't care attitude, but it's like, you have to care in 2018 as an independent band. Like, no one's gonna care for you. So
it's true. And I like it when like a band is like really active. Like, well, just like on, you know, social media, for example, like they'll post something like almost regularly, and not like once every 6 months. And they'd be like, hey, we're playing a show this week after taking a break that we didn't intend it, you know.
That we really didn't deserve.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, man, I see that all the time with bands. And then, you know, those are the same bands that, you know, not to like talk shit about anybody, but it's just like it's just a matter of, you know, it's really just a matter of fact though. It's just that the bands, they don't put themselves out there to let people know they exist, and then the band breaks up 6 months to a year later. Yeah. Because no one's coming to shows and nobody's, you know, buying records and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, you got to let people know those things exist. You got to let people know those shows are happening.
For sure. Yeah.
And even without that, why wouldn't you want to communicate? Like, there's some people who are so above social media. My favorite thing right now that I've had to learn to love is social media. Yeah. Because now it's like, we get to talk directly to people who give a shit about our band, and they're from all over the place.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That's
like,
a good thing about
it.
It's
so cool. Yeah. Sure. Like right now I'm talking to you, like, and like, think about the distance of where you and I are.
I know,
right?
You're 6 hours
it's
ahead,
amazing.
Man.
Dude. Yeah. 6 hours ahead of you. And it's like, it's just crazy to think, like, you and I would probably, if social media didn't happen, you and I would probably not be on the phone right now.
No. And you're stuck in snow, and I got the blazing sun right now. It's like, wow. Damn,
yeah, you got all the nice weather.
So delicate, like porcelain, just like shadows on the floor, stretched to the ceiling. It's a massacre or a masochist, and it feels like nothing
crazy, man. It's like, we talk to people from Nashville every day. We talk to people from Alabama every day, people from California every day. And it's so nice because it's like, and it's not forced. It's genuine. There's these people who are just randomly, want to be in touch, and we want to be in touch too. It's like, we're not above anybody. I think that's a dumb mentality. It's like, if you see somebody tweeting about your band, acknowledge them. Like, that's amazing. Like, that shouldn't happen. It's like someone from Switzerland wants to buy your record, but you weren't on Twitter in the last 6 months to let them know where they can get it, and in 6 months they forgot about you. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's exciting. I think all that stuff is exciting. So, I mean, I know some people look at it in a negative light, and I used to too. I'm guilty of it. When I was younger, I thought it was stupid, but I just didn't understand it. And now I see like what's really in front of me. And I'm like, wow, you know what? Yeah. Like, we can be talking to all these people all the time and actually hear what people think. And if people don't like something, like, we started this new YouTube series called Covers from the Kitchen. I don't know if you've had a chance to check that out at all.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's like a brand new thing we started.
Nice.
Where we post these weekly videos, but Kate will do one and then I'll do one. So we'll do it individually. And because usually we do these Facebook live streams where we're always playing together. And we play like cover songs sometimes in the live streams and originals, but it's always stuff we agree on. So Covers from the Kitchen is things that we don't necessarily agree on, but we both like, and it's everything that influences us and helps us create 18th and Addison's music. Nice. So we started that series, and a lot of people seem to be really into it right now. And, a decent amount of people, enough for us to, want to keep doing it and entertaining everybody, let people see like where we come from. And, it's like really interesting, but that wouldn't happen if we just posted it and comments weren't a thing and messages weren't a thing, so it's cool to actually hear what people think and not just kind of, I can't imagine how different it was like in the early 90s or early 2000s, even with a record label where they did all the talking for you. So yeah, it's a really cool situation that everybody's in. I think people need to acknowledge it more.
Yeah, for sure. So you think it's easier for a band or even a record label to market a record in today's like social media kind of world?
I think it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
I think it is because there's really cheap ways to do it now. So that don't necessarily require hiring a PR group, like or anything like that. But at some point you do need that because it's there's people who have that job for a reason, so they're good at it. So, and there's a lot of them that are really, really great at it. So there's the good and the bad, and the negative side to it is everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So, social media ads, things like that. It's the constant, the activity on social media, like we were just saying, is extremely important. And at the same time, what's real important is creating stuff that actually matters to other people. Because, I see the people that we follow back, who follow us, like we always follow people back when they follow us. And if they're genuine, if they're not like one of those bot accounts, we're like, fuck you. No! But like, if it's a real person, I'm like, I'm not getting
read my
again.
Books. I'll teach you how to promote stuff. It's like, all right.
Yeah. So it's like, if it's a real person, like we're all over them. We're like, what's up, man? Like, how you doing? Like, thanks for following us, kind of thing. And I see who they follow. Some of them follow like 2 million people.
That's
and
crazy,
I'm like,
man. Like,
right?
I can't imagine.
How do you keep up with that many people?
For sure. Like, and your phone must be so hot every time. Like, you got to turn notifications off. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, oh.
Yeah, you have no battery ever.
Yeah, because
it's amazing. So I mean, it's just there's so much out there. So I mean, it's the good and the bad. It's great because you don't really necessarily really need a label, but like labels are still good.
For sure.
But you can do it on your own if you have, the drive and the work ethic and, the willing to not, the ability to not sleep at all. For everything else, like I was just saying, it's just the shame of it is every single band is doing it. Every artist is doing it, to where it's kind of becoming what local scenes become, where there's that one kid in school who's the only kid in school with a band, and it's like, oh shit, you're in a band? Like, I thought you could only be in a band if you were famous, like Blink-182. Like, I didn't know you could be in a small band. Like, that's like what you learn as you're growing up. You're like, wow, like this exists like on this level. I had no idea. And then, everybody starts doing it, then people stop coming to shows because they're just constantly being bombarded by musicians to come see their band play. So it's, you know, it kind of happens all the time. But, you know, if you're passionate enough, I think people catch on to the bands that really give a shit and the artists that really care and are doing it for the right reasons. I think that always shows through first. But that's my opinion. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I mean,
right on.
the thing I notice, like the bands I latch onto are always like, you know, it's fun growing up. Like I'd be listening to My Chemical Romance and my dad would be like, why do you want to even bother listening to this? They're not going to be here in like a year, you know, they're not going to last, and they're not even a band anymore. And they're still bigger than every big band right now.
I never got the My Chemical Romance, like I didn't get into them. I don't know if it's just because I didn't know who they were. Like in the school I went to it's a small town, La Grande, Oregon, which is it's like 4 hours east of Portland, and like the county is maybe like 10,000 people.
Right.
But like I just didn't get into that, and like I got into Thrice really late. I'm like,
oh man, they are great. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah. Like I think I got Artist in the Ambulance.
Nice.
Like, and then like maybe a few months later, is it Vesuvio? The one after that came out like months after.
VSU?
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite records.
I'm like, all right, I can get into it, but like I totally missed like the first two albums, which was I think the ones that made them big in the first place. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they had like Stare at the Sun on it and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. Or
yeah,
Identity
that took me a
Crisis.
minute, too.
I was like, okay. It's like, oh yeah, I totally missed that one. All right. But
yeah, that took me a second too. I didn't catch on to them until after Artist in the Ambulance was already out for a while.
Yeah.
But damn, they're so good.
For sure. Did you grow up with Tower Records as a place to hang out and go to?
No, I lived too far from there.
Oh, really? Okay.
We didn't really have one here. We still have Vintage Vinyl is here, which is still a very popular shop, and they do a lot of great things. Like when bands come on tour, like say like The Used is playing at Starland Ballroom, which is in Sayreville, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like say they're playing there, they'll go to Ford's, which is where Vintage Vinyl is, which is only about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes away, maybe even less than that. It could be way off. But the bands will go there and do an acoustic performance and a signing, or a full band of performance and a signing. You know, it's pretty amazing. Nice. So like they really cater to just music. They really give a shit, and they're still here. It's amazing. Nice. Tower Records I've been to once, but I think I was too young to really appreciate it. Like it was so much to take in. Like I think I was like 14 or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And there was just so much there. I didn't know what to think. I just remember kind of like thinking about it now. I think I was just overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah. No. Unfortunately, now that that's gone, you know, that was all the way up in Manhattan in New York City. So.
Oh wow. That was so cool.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to really go there often. I mean, we might have had a Tower Records in New Jersey, but everything where I live, dude, everything is so far from us that it's cool.
Oh man.
Like we have no music venues here. Like we're the only county in New Jersey that doesn't have a venue.
Really? Wow. No. Yeah. Is it the VF, the W halls? Is that what?
Yeah, we would have stuff like that, but like, yeah, I mean, like, you know, like Asbury Park has Stone Pony. It had Asbury Lanes. It's got the Yacht Club now. It's got Langosta Lounge. So like, there's a ton of little venues there that are doing, you know, still having live music, and you know, has a lot of local bands. Monmouth County has the Brighton Bar, which is, you know, we play there every time we're home from tour, or if we're kicking off a tour or doing anything like that, because we just, for some reason, we tend to do really well at that venue. Nice. And they're good. You know, we're the only one that doesn't have it. Atlantic City has a few little venues.
Wow.
We're literally the only county in New Jersey that has no music venues, and even the VFW halls, I don't think they do shows at all anymore.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, it's a very strange situation here.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a bummer. But that's why we go on tour.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's cool.
We go to the places that do have venues.
It's always good, man. It's always good.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's cool, man. So, that single you wrote for the short film?
Yeah.
That was a short film you did?
Yeah. I was I acted in that.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And then while we were done, when they were wrapping up and getting into the editing phase, doing the film score and stuff like that, the director and the writer of the short film called me and asked if Kate and I would be down to like kind of donate a song to the soundtrack or for the end of the movie. And you know, I was like, yeah, but we don't really have anything that would really like actually be good for this. So you know, let us write something. And took us a little while, but we were digging through like old files and stuff like that, and we remembered a song that we initially wrote for Makeshift Monster. And it actually ended up getting the boot. It just like, yeah, it didn't fit the album.
Oh, okay.
But we switched it with this song called Under the Water, which is the closing song on the record. And you know, that was a way better call. That was actually on Kate's call, because I was like, I don't know which one I like more. And Kate went with Under the Water, and I was like, well, fuck it, I like both, so let's just put Under the Water on there. And then you know, luckily enough, you know, I'm glad, because I love Crumble and Crawl so much that fortunately Stephanie, who's the director of Cold and Calculated, called me and asked if we could give them that song. So we were like, hell yeah, it's perfect. Nice. So yeah, I'm just happy it got to see the light of day, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's cool, man. That's a nice story.
Yeah.
Is because I see the cover art for that single. It's like an older dude on it. Is that what the film is kind of about? Focused on?
No, the film is actually based on the artwork we made was like totally separate, just because after we put it out on our website for free after the movie was done. And you know, we did announce that we wrote it for the movie and it wasn't going to be on a record or anything. And then we put it out on our website for free download. And after that, we ended up Kate ended up finding this really cool painting, or I think that was just like a legitimate photo with some editing done to it. And we never actually got a chance to figure out who the photographer or the artist was. I'm really upset about that, but hopefully they find it and tell us so we can use their stuff and we can credit them. But whoever made it, it's an awesome photo, and it just really, to me, like, and to Kate obviously too, because she wouldn't have chosen it if otherwise, but just really kind of captured the vibe of the song. And so yeah, so that's totally separate from the film. But what the film's about is it's about these like fresh out of high school students who are now in college. They're attending this small college in Philadelphia, and you know, they're all pretty, like, you know, they're all kids who come from a pretty like rough past. It's really based, it's heavily based on like sins and things like that, and little stories kind of along that line. And their professor is this like this cold, like creepy, evil person he's the guy I got to play.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and he ends up kind of learning about what they've all done, or not ends up learning, but he knows what they've all done, and sort of starts playing some mind games, and kind of plays into, like, kind of faces them with their sins, and kind of makes them realize, like, you know, they weren't afraid of it when they were doing it, but now that life is becoming jeopardized, they're like, oh shit, like I should probably not do this anymore. But what they don't know is it's already too late. And at the end, there's this really cool reveal at the end that I thought was pretty exciting and really well written for a 15-minute movie. So
man, I want to check it out.
I think it's on YouTube, man. Just search Cold and Calculated.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gotten like too many views on there yet. I think it's only got like 300 or 400, but it's just cool that people are watching it, responding.
For sure. Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. I thought it was fun. You know, it was my first time officially acting, and then to be asked to also put a song to it and have 18th and Addison involved, it's like, you know, two of my favorite things, movies and music. And not only that, but now my own movie and my own band in the same world. It's like, hell yeah.
Nice. You got any IMDb credits?
Yeah, for that one I did.
Oh, nice, nice.
Drove myself right up a wall. And I've been dancing with the devil till I fall. Now he is watching me crawl. 'Cause time goes by so slow.
And I'm actually going to be acting in another movie coming out next year. We're just going to be shooting over the course of the year. It's called Trapped in Schizophrenia.
Oh.
And we're actually doing the entire film score for that. That's a feature film, so that'll be way longer than 15 minutes. So that's good.
That's
but
awesome,
yeah,
man.
yeah. The writer and the director for that called me, and she was like, "Hey, do you happen to do film score?" And we were like, "Well, we've only written a song for the one short film that I did, but I'm sure we could. We're interested. What do you have in mind?" And wanted us to do that just to kind of capture the vibe of the story. And we're writing one original for it, which I don't know if we'll release it the way we release Crumble and Crawl. We might,
Yeah.
but we have that going on for that movie. And then a couple weeks later, one of their main actors dropped, or I think they dropped him because there were some complications with like flights and money and things like that. And yeah, it became a headache for them. And they saw Cold and Calculated actually, and they were like, why don't we ask Tom to do it, see if he's available to actually play the schizo. So
Nice.
I was like, hell yeah. I was like, yeah, I want to play that guy. He sounds terrifying.
I'm gonna have to check that one out too now. Oh.
Yeah, that'll be out at some point. I think in 2019, I think is what they're shooting for.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we got to get done. I haven't even started it yet, but once all the acting's done and all the editing's done, we can start doing the film score. That's exciting. I can't wait to do all of it. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a busy year.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, you're going to be busy working. That's always cool, man.
Yeah. And in both worlds, too, music and film. It's like,
yeah,
really excited.
You think you're going to approach the score with like kind of like a guitar kind of drum kind of sound, or are you going to actually put strings to it? Well,
we have a few ideas already, which we're way ahead of the game because, like I said, the movie is like just started filming.
Yeah.
I haven't even done any of my scenes yet. But right now, the ideas that we have, we're kind of running back and forth. Like I have some guitar riffs written that I want to transcribe to synths and piano.
Oh, nice.
And then Kate's been demoing some stuff that's very string driven, piano driven, just creepy undertones and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so we're experimenting with everything. It's definitely totally out of the realm of 18th and Addison in a sense, but that's the stuff we like, though. It opens our eyes to every style possible. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything on it. So there'll be some songs on there that kind of have the Crumble and Crawl vibe, or at least one of them. And then everything else is just genuine film score.
Yeah. Are you familiar? Did you watch 28 Days Later?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Really?
I'm so behind on that. Yeah.
Well, it's that one Danny Boyle movie, the zombie one, with,
Right.
Cillian Murphy in it. But
Yeah, that's right. I love that guy.
yeah, he's dope in it. Let's see that. I think the guy who did the score, John Murphy, like
Uh-huh.
he like if you listen to like the soundtrack and all the songs he's written for it, it's kind of varied. There's like kind of like acapella, kind of choiry kind of stuff, and then
Yeah, oh man, I love that.
for like the intense like zombie fight scenes, like it's just like
Right.
guitar and drums, but it's
Oh,
like
that's cool.
it's like I don't know, like very aggressive, and like it's just like he's just strumming like two chords over and over, and it's like really intense. I'm like,
Right.
okay, he made it work for that. So like
Yeah.
usually I don't know if you can make stuff like generally like usually it's just like I guess orchestrated kind of stuff, but he made it
Yeah,
work for
some
that
people
movie.
they just yeah, man, some people just do it very differently. And it's like Hans Zimmer is one of the most amazing ones.
Okay, yeah.
There's another guy named Junkie XL who's very synth driven, but he's also he's also very involved in getting like actual instruments on there too.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. There's just a million ways to go about it. It's just as long as you capture the emotion, I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, right on. Oh, so you're gonna have to do it. What is that, like a Foley artist, where you watch the movie and play at the same time or whatever?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
okay, it has to sound like this. All right. Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
So, your upcoming tours, it's gonna be June time, like for around the new
Yeah.
EP. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much right around the new EP. It's only a couple dates, but for us, it's the perfect amount right now.
Nice.
But first, we're gonna do that show with Newfound and Bayside,
Oh,
and then we'll do a record release show just to kind of celebrate the release of the new EP, welcome our new child into the world.
oh wow.
And then,
Nice. Congrats, man.
Oh, you thought like a real child?
I thought I was a real child. I'm like, oh wow, this is a
No,
great
no,
year.
dude, I don't think I'd have time for all that.
It's like, dude, congratulations, man. It's big news. Okay.
That's how I should promote the show, though.
Yeah. Well,
You're like, yeah, we're welcoming a new child into the world on June 2nd.
yes, it's a EP shower. Please bring
Yeah,
gifts.
it's an EP shower. Bring gifts and cookies and stuff.
Right on.
Like glass we see straight through. We only want the truth. Reason, regret, repent, repeat. Expect no sympathy. You
I see that on your Facebook, Tech Fest.
Yeah.
Right? What's Tech Fest?
Tech Fest is actually it's this festival run by some friends of ours who work at the vocational school, and it's actually a school that I went to when I was in high school
Oh, nice.
for audio recording, and they've actually combined the audio recording classes along with the performing arts classes. So
Oh, wow.
they're pretty much giving every student. It's all for the students, which is what we love so much about it is it gives the students the ability to learn all aspects of running a show.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so kids learn what it's like to be a tech. They learn what it's like to be the stage hands, stage managers, videographers, photographers.
Wow.
They learn how to run lights and sounds according to what the bands want. Like they learn how to work with the artists there,
Yeah.
and they learn how to do call sheets. They learn how to do all that fun stuff, and all the important stuff that gets it done and keeps it organized. Communication, things like that. It's run really tight, and it's a good friend of ours. Actually, the guy who recorded our cover of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and Crumble and Crawl. His name's Zach Slater. The dude's awesome. And he actually is one of their teachers now. And he's the one who sort of created and now curates the whole festival along with the other teacher who I actually had when I was in school.
Oh, wow.
So now the two of them do it, and it's a really cool thing, and all the proceeds go to the one guy, Billy Burke, who's another teacher. His father was also a teacher there. He was actually my teacher when I was in school. He passed away a few years back, and they opened up a Dennis Burke scholarship fund for kids who are interested in music and things like that and really want to be involved in studio work and pretty much everything that Tech Fest is about already. And all the proceeds go to the students.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's a really great festival.
For sure. Oh, that sounds really cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. And at the same time, it's local, it's home, it's 15 minutes away from us. So we get to go play, and we get to play to those same kids that I was telling you about that don't get to come see us at certain shows that are 21 and up.
Ah. Oh, okay.
So it's exciting, it's like you finally that kind of opens up the doors for it.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, it's like, well, you can't see us anywhere else. Come to this one.
Let's see. Hey, so are you particular to any kind of format, like personally, like as a consumer? Like, are you heavily into vinyl or tapes or even CDs?
No, not really. I'm not too picky.
Nice, yeah, because that resurgence of vinyl is, I think it's still kicking in. I always see posts.
Yeah, vinyl's huge.
Yeah. but I'm starting to run out of space.
Vinyl is huge.
Yeah,
vinyl is massive. I'm not really too particular to either. I still buy CDs all the time.
Okay.
But
CD guy.
I'm also okay with listening through Spotify. I'm not opposed to it.
Oh, so you're a Spotify guy, not
yeah,
Apple
I like
Music?
Spotify. No, I don't have Apple Music yet.
Yeah.
I gotta get on that though.
No, I think it's pretty much the same. I think.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, so either or. But I mean, like, if you're an iPhone user, you should get Apple Music.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. I gotta just get on it already.
Oh, yeah, it's okay though.
But yeah, man, it's just I don't know. I've never really been too picky about it. I prefer CDs because I like the sound way better.
Oh yeah, okay, for sure.
Like I can actually hear the tones and things like that with the phones. Things aren't always that great.
Oh.
But a lot of bands record nowadays to suit just digital anyway. So
yeah,
sometimes it kind of works out for us. It kind of works out for certain bands.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not too picky though. I do like some vinyl. Like I have like a few vinyl records. I don't really go crazy collecting though.
Oh, okay, right on.
I do know a lot of people who love it, but I just never really cared.
Yeah, I know. I think I went through a phase, and like,
yeah,
it's starting to like affect my bank account. So I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Dollar bins though, I'll do the dollar bins. If,
those are great.
If I can find something, but it's either that or
that's all the stuff that I'm afraid of. Is I'm too broke. I'm a broke musician.
Oh man, for sure. Oh, cool, man. I think that's good enough.
Awesome, dude.
Our talk, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, man. Thank you again for doing this.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. I appreciate your interest in our music. That's fucking awesome. It always feels really good when, you know, someone like you wants to take time out of their day to just kind of hang out, talk, and get some information, and also help us get the word out. You know, that shit means a lot to us. I know Kate's like real bummed that she couldn't be here tonight, but to talk to you also.
Yeah, we'll probably have to.
Maybe we can set up another one in the future for her.
I'd love that. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I'll just keep bothering you.
Two sides to every story, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Right on, man. Is there anything you want to plug particularly, or make any shout outs to anyone?
Not really particularly. Yeah, I'll shout out Kate's dog Cloud, because we love him.
Yes. Yes.
We'll shout out her little brother Ty, because he's a little mini actor now. He's been in almost every music video.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's the one in the war video where he.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, that's that's actually my cousin Dante.
Oh, okay.
And her cousin Sammy played her.
Oh, okay.
Her brother Ty, actually, I think he's only in one video. I don't know why I said all of them. Oh. He's only been in he's in Moving Mountains, the video where Kate ran around in a dinosaur costume. He was like about the dinosaur that wants to be a basketball player, but his arms are too short.
Yeah. Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice. I love explaining that video to people and expecting them to take it seriously. Like, I'll be like, no, you don't understand. It's a video about dreams and goals.
What's a dinosaur? What? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, her little brother's in that. He's also on the cover of our little Parasites EP. That's probably why I think he's on everything, because he's involved all the time somehow.
Everything. Right on. Well,
yeah.
Sweet, man.
But really, anything else, dude, anything else that we really have going on is just go to 18thandaddison.com, join the mailing list, and keep an eye out for tour dates. Info on the release show for the Vultures EP, and that'll be out on June 1st. That's really it, man. We're just trying to get this EP moving. That's the most exciting thing right now.
For sure. Right on. That's sweet.
Music videos and singles, all that are coming, so we're working.
Nice.
If you can call it work, it's just fun.
Oh yeah, yes. It's not work, yeah. If it's fun, it's all fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just straight up hyper focused passion and excitement, because it's like you get on such a high of enthusiasm when you know you're going to put out something new, that it's just like you want to do everything. And you're like, oh my God, we did so much. I have a lot to talk about.
Nice. Oh,
it's all good stuff, though, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. Right on. Well, again, Tom, thank you for being on the show. And
yeah, man, thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, man. Keep in touch.
Oh, yeah, we'll do. For sure, man.
And also let me know when this is going up too, because we'll put out a bunch of stuff on social media promoting it and tagging you guys.
Okay, for sure, no problem.
All right, dude. Yeah. Have a good day.
You too, man.
Take care. Day for you, right?
Oh yeah, it's still day. Good night to you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later, man. Peace.
Bye.
My little time bomb, always ticking through the night. And it's an issue, but I miss you every time you walk out of my life. I know the silence kills me when I try and close my eyes. A holy gunshot, better not contemplate social suicide. I got my own way, every time you walk out of my life. Little delinquent, need you like a bullet to the brain. Steady, daddy, got my habit, but you know you make me feel insane. Yeah, I got my own way, my own way of feeling. I got my own way, my own way of feeling. I got my own way, my own way of feeling. I got my own way, my own way of feeling.
Alright, that is it for this show. The track you heard is the new single by 18th and Addison. The track comes off their new and upcoming EP, Vultures, set to be released June 1st, and the name of that song is titled Timebomb. A new music video for that single is actually out today. Check out links for that on their Facebook page, but I believe the link for that is also mxdwn.com. Visit the band's website, 18thandaddison.com. That's 18thandaddison.com. They also be on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Music available on iTunes and Spotify. Once again, thank you to Tom for being on the show. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this. Check out this podcast show notes for the track listing for today's episode. You can also check that out on this podcast website, takingaleadmedia.com. You can stream this episode and past episodes on there too, and read up on my seldom ramblings. This is an Apple podcast, so please do check out the show on iTunes. And if you could do me the favor, please rate and review the podcast on iTunes. 1 star, 5 stars, you decide. Any feedback will go towards improving the show and help the podcast climb the charts. I'd be very grateful for that. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And be sure to recommend the show to a friend. They may find their new favorite band on a future episode. This podcast is also streaming on YouTube. Search Taking the Lead Media, and on Tumblr at oneshotsideshow.tumblr.com. Hit me up on Twitter at TTLM Podcast. I do love the interaction. Send love, hate, comments, questions, music submissions, recommendations to my email, along with any general correspondence to takingtheleadmedia@gmail.com. Alright, so next week, some punk tunes. You'll dig it, so be sure to check back. Unless you're subscribed to the podcast, then you'll get it once it's released. Until then, my name is Onofre, and I'll be signing off until the next Taking the Lead Media podcast. Thanks for listening.
Control it. I try and to witness my home. I try again. I try.